Go time, go time, go to. Oh, hey. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Laser Engraving 911. So we had a little bit of time today here in the shop between we cleared a bunch of laser engraving jobs, and I've been staring at this pile of xTool in my shop here for weeks now. And I was like, you know what? We had a great time unboxing the F1 Ultra. Why don't we just do a full unboxing? And when I mean unboxing, I don't mean like pre-recorded. Like, I literally have not opened these boxes of the M1 Ultra from xTool. So not even peeked inside. So we're kind of just going to get into this together. Why doesn't everybody, do we have anybody in there? Why do you want to see if everybody want to type in there where you're from? I'd be curious to know, like, who's watching so far. Yeah, we say hello. Where are y'all from? We're here in Georgia, by the way, and it is hot as Hades and sweaty here, but not in the shop. It's kind of nice in here. But if you get a chance during the stream at any time, let us know where you're from. Be curious. Leave your comments on the video below of any of the items that we're about to go over. So we've got of course, the M1 Ultra that we're going to unbox. That's the main unit. If you don't know what it is, and I'm sure a lot of you probably do, it is a laser. So technically it does belong here on Laser Engraving 911, but it is so much more than that. It is a kind of all-around home hobby crafting tool with all kinds of different attachments that I'm actually really curious to learn about. It's got a cutter in it. It's got an embossing tip. It's got a inkjet printer head. And of course, it's got a laser head in it. And we've got the deluxe kit here today. So we're going to go through all the possible attachments that you could possibly get with this unit. And Haley is on the comments over there. So she is going to help feed me any questions or comments that you have along the way. If you want me to show you a specific angle or something, or how big something is, or we'll do our best. We're not going to plug anything in. We're just going to kind of go through what you get when you get the Ultra. So I think that's a good intro. Oh, hold on. And if you haven't subscribed, of course, to my channel and you're just watching and you like what you see here, or if you're not sure, or if you just feel like hitting the subscribe button, go ahead. Just hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. All right. What are we going to grab first? Let's see. I think that out of all these things, we will grab what is this? Okay. Now that's boring. I don't want to grab that. Let's grab the sample kit. All right. So this is a sample kit that I think this is the sample kit that you get a bunch of material with the M1 Ultra. And I'm curious to see what they sent for samples. I don't know if this is the exact sample kit that you get when you get the deluxe kit, but they might have sent me some extra because sometimes they do that because I make videos and stuff. But let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. Oh, God. And we're going to make a big mess today. Huge mess, just like we did last time. And as I make a mess and we go through all this stuff, I'm just going to like throw my cardboard mess over there. Okay. So let's get these out. We've got some kind of package here. We've got one, it looks like one. Oh, it's the ink module. Okay. So we'll have to get into that. That's one of the ink modules. And then this looks like it might be a sample pack right there. And then we're going to not cut myself with my sharp knife. And we're going to take this and we're going to put it in what I like to refer to as the black hole. All right. So I still think this is the sample pack. What do you think? What are your bets, Haley? What do you think?
Sounds like it.
Could be. Yes. It is samples material. Oh my gosh, a lot of material. like a lot. Like a lot.
Rough material.
Well, like I said, I don't know if this is exactly what you're going to get, but okay, so right off the bat, we've got a couple of 100% cotton shirts. Okay, it says 100% cotton. Got a couple of blank shirts, and that's because the M1 Ultra comes with a vinyl cutter. So you can cut out some heat transfer vinyl for making shirts. And you can buy a heat press for the shirts, which we are going to actually explore as well. So we got some shirts. We've got a little kind of pyramid thing, product mini photo frame. So if you want to print some photos and cut them out with the laser, you got a little mini photo frame. There's some keychains in here for testing out the laser, I'm assuming. That's interesting. Okay, it says xTool selected. So they handpicked this item, whatever this is. Uh-huh. And if you want to check out some of the detailed specs of the unit we're going to be unboxing today, there is links in the description of this video where you can go right to the product page. Looks like some kind of a leatherette type little billfold thing. So you can, once again, you could do a couple of things with that. You could laser that. You could cut out some vinyl and do a press on that. I'm sure that it would adhere to that. And this looks like some kind of little swatch of something. So, okay. So we got that. We'll put that back in here. And you guys, if you have any questions at all, it could be related to this, or you want to just throw a question out there at me, feel free. We're just doing this unboxing. This looks like some kind of sticker paper. Oh my God. So much material, all for one little powerful machine. This looks like a chunk of, no joke, this is actual genuine leather here. So I guess there's an application, the cutter in there. You could attempt to cut, and this is pretty thick leather too. Another photo frame. All kinds of paper, looks like possibly sticker paper. I'm pretty sure this is like inkjet printer sticker paper, some kind of transfer paper, but definitely for inkjet printing. So some printer paper in there. Looks like a whole bunch of foil for the foiling application, which this unit can do with the foiling head. So you've got some foil. Let's see, all kinds of cardstock, different colors, glitter. Looks like it's got speckles in it, maybe for making invitations. And then using the foil applicator to do some foil embossing on that. That looks actually really nice invitation paper. Let's see, a bunch of, I don't want to say acrylic, but kind of translucent. I don't know if that's acrylic or translucent material, but definitely for probably cutting with the knife rather than the laser. If you wanted to make some stained glass projects, some more kind of ultra thin laser cutting acrylic, some nice project wood for laser cutting for sure. That's nice. I think the goal is they really want you to try out all the different things that the M1 Ultra can do. So hopefully they include this in the deluxe kit, because this is a pretty awesome. And one of the things I always say when you getting into laser engraving or any of these applications is it's great to have as much material as possible so you can make mistakes, so you can try out different settings, so you can figure out what works. And xTool has always done a pretty good job of including a bunch of that kind of stuff in their sample material kits. This is some kind of felt. So if you want to make some felt flowers cutouts, want to make maybe some felt creatures, you could probably use that. That's pretty nice. What's up with these little picture frames? They're like all like like littered in the box here. Now we've got some bigger stuff, like really big stuff. What is this? Dude, what is this? This is just cardstock? Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you're gonna have to manually cut that down with a razor blade if you want to use that. And it looks like some kind of maybe thicker art paper. Okay. Did they just throw this in to fill up the box? I don't know. Yeah, there's the rest of this box is just this really thick. If anybody has the M1 Ultra out there and they got a bunch of this stuff, that's crazy. Look at this stuff. God, dude, there's so much of this cardstock for days. Those are like full, like I could fit these in my Epilogue laser. Like that's how big they are. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put them in the big laser and cut them down to M1 Ultra size to play with them. Yeah, and you know what else? I've been thinking, like, since I'm going to do like a full review on this video at a later time, I would love it if anyone watching could give me some project ideas that I could do in the video rather than just kind of go through all the features and all that stuff. But like, I would love to hear anybody's suggestion of a project that I could do with the M1 Ultra that would involve all the different attachments that you can put on the M1 Ultra. So the cutter, the ink, the foiler, and the laser, of course. So I would love to hear some of your suggestions because honestly, I've come up with a few. I've bounced them off some people and they're like, eh. And I'm not convinced that I want to go with my own suggestions. So I'm open to that. Okay. So we haven't gone through that. So I'm going to put these samples back. That was the sample material kit. We'll set that aside. And then feel free to interrupt if anybody has any questions. Okay, so what's this? I don't know. I bet you these are ink cartridges. What do you think, since the ink head was in here? Yeah. I think these are ink cartridges. Yeah. No. Okay, so we've got the rotary blade for the attachment. Okay, this is for cutting out different materials without using a laser. And I can see that coming in handy because you're sure to not get any burnt edges. Now the question I have is how thick of leather can the blade cut? That I'm curious to know what the limitations are of that. And then this other one, we've got the foil transfer tip. So I want to get into those and see what that's all about. And then this is just the ink module. Okay, so let's look at the foil transfer tip. Okay, it's very small. I could tell you that. So one of the things I'm curious about, and I don't think this is a heated foil transfer tip. I think it just uses pressure, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's the foil transfer tip right there. It looks like it just uses hard pressure, and by it moving kind of back and forth, that creates enough heat to bond the foil to the substrate, whether it's paper or I'm not sure if it's going to work on leather, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So that's one of the attachments if you want to transfer foil to a medium. Let's put that in there. And then here is the xTool rotary blade. And I'm guessing this is used for like vinyl and things like that, of that nature. Instructions. Yeah, real clear instructions on how to load that sucker in. And it reminds you right off the bat that it's sharp. So don't go poking the end of it, Michael. All right, so now that is interesting. That has to be a different kind of, oh, it wrote, what? Look at that. Different kind of road. So it's like a blade, it's a blade wheel. Not sure if that's the vinyl cutter or not, but that may be for leather cutting or something of that nature. Like I said, I haven't opened up the software, read the full instruction manual. This is just a unboxing of all the little components because why not, right? I'm tired of staring at it in my shop and I figure we just dive right in.
Someone says, curious to find out how fine of detail the rotary cutter will cut.
Yeah, especially. And I am too. I don't think that was it because there's no way that that circular blade can get like fine points and stuff. I think that might be for cutting out bigger things. I could be wrong though. Maybe I don't know enough about vinyl cutting. I just remember that when we had a vinyl cutter early on at Sonoma Laser Engraving, we bought like a plotter and the blade didn't look anything like that. It was like a very sharp, very small blade that turned and it was able to get really high detail on the cuts. Okay, so this is the ink module that was also in this box here. So that is one of the modules that you can snap on to the M1 Ultra. And yep, the ink cartridge is in here, so I'm not going to crack that open. We'll keep that fresh. But you get an ink module or ink cartridge. And then let's look at this thing. Oh, it's kind of beefy. Man, they do such a good job with their manufacturing. Like, I have to say, you know, for the price that they sell a lot of their units for, I have been impressed with their quality of, maybe it's not the manufacturing, but like the design of it and the manufacturing as well. So this is just a snap-on inkjet cartridge. Got your ink. It looks like there's some loaded in there already. Maybe that's a spare that came with it. And then we'll get to the main unit here shortly, where you just snap that on when you want to start printing in color and use the software to load up your graphics and stuff. That is really cool. Okay, so that was box number 1, kind of a fun box. So much material. I'm sure I'll waste a bunch of that. I'm sure I'll waste a bunch of that material goofing around, dialing in my settings. So thank you, xTool, for that. All right, so we will set this all together and get this off the table so we can go on to the next box of fun. All right, here we go. All right, what should we do next? Any suggestions? How many viewers we got? A few?
We're at 24 currently.
Okay. Any suggestions? Should we go for the heat press? That is interesting to me because it's not something that I believe comes with the M1 Ultra, but it's what you're going to need, some form of heat press to work with the vinyl and doing transfers and stuff like that. Or we could go for the little miniature fume extractor that I saw came with it. We can, any votes? 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to go with the heat press. I think this is it. Oh my God. Help me. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get a drink of water here. All right. Remember I was talking about their design team? I think that from just looking online at what this heat press looked like, I was kind of impressed. It had like its own little separate like control window. Didn't look like your standard heat press. Okay. Cali.
North Carolina, Michigan, Ohio, Oregon.
Nice.
All over the place.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is, oh yeah, this is definitely the heat press because I think this first thing in the top of the box is a heat pad. Yes. Yes, they give you a nice little squishy heat pad, which can be great for things like, yeah, smart press mat, heat resistant, durable, reusable, and space saving. Okay, so we got a heat mat. So I think we opened the right box for the heat press. Wow. Okay, black hole. Bye-bye. We're going to have fun later cleaning all this up, Haley. Black hole. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay, what are we going to do here?
Flip it upside down and shake it.
No, I got this. Okay, wow, there's something in there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Oh, my God. Ugh. Okay. One of the heat presses, I think. And I think this is the swing away. Boom. Okay. Okay. All right, so we've got the smart press and we've got the smart press platform. Oh, so I think you can combine them or use them different ways. Like if you want to have a swing away heat press or if you want to just like manually press. I think these are going to be good for people who do sublimation as well. I think because sublimation involves, you know, heat and pressure to sublimate on flat surfaces. This might be a dual threat tool right here. And I looked at the cost of this heat press online and I was like, dang, how do they get it down that low? Like, I don't think I've had some other heat presses that I bought off like eBay and like, they're like, they're like, okay. So we'll open the smart press, which I think is the main unit first. Then we'll figure out what's in this weird little box here. But let's go ahead and open up the smart press. That's what they're calling it. Very nice, very nice. Please come out. No. I don't want to trash the boxes if I can help it. Very nice packaging. Oh, I'm on the struggle bus with this one over here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got the smart press. Dang. Uniform heating, time and temperature control knob, multiple overheat protection, compatible with xTool heat press platform. All right. Smarter, easier, and safer is the tagline. Okay, so we've got the power cord. We've got the control module, which I think looks amazing. Can we just stop and appreciate the control? Can we just stop and appreciate the control module here? I feel like this belongs on my desk to like control a game or maybe one of my audio programs, like master volume knob or something. Once again, got to give it to xTool for their design team. Very cool. I bet it looks even cooler when it's on with its LCD, like kind of digital display, but I'll give it up there. Looks like we've got some little tiny, probably really important things. I don't know what this little thing is here. Is this like a, Okay, so there's this little thing in. Keep in mind, I haven't read the instructions, but it is like this little tiny bag in here. Probably something you don't want to lose because it looks like it has control pins, like little pins, like it's supposed to lock into something. Maybe it's a safety key. Maybe it's an activation key. I don't know, or a fuse. Could be a fuse. Could be a fuse because it is a lot of heat press. Little USB cable. Got this over here. All right, you ready? You ready? Ready? Dang, look at that.
Like a giant defibrillator.
Yeah. It's also a defibrillator. So then that would make it a 5-in-1 instead of a 4-in-1. I don't think you'd want to get defibrillated with this thing. I think it would just, yeah, that's horrible to think about. Anyway, this almost looks like real bamboo on top right here. I'm not sure if it does, but if it's not, then guess what? They did a really good job at the wood grain kind of finish right here. Looks like you've got, yeah, I think that little micro thing that I found, I think that snaps in right here. It's probably some kind of a fuse protection. But anyway, that's really cool. Let's see what else is in there. Are you going to stand up for me? Oh, good job. Of course, the instruction manual, which I won't bore you with reading through it today, but it looks like a lot of their other instruction manuals with very, very, very well, which is another thing that xTool does very well, is they have way better instruction manuals than I've seen in a lot of other products. So we've got that there. And there is something, oh, you know what I think this is? I think this is the heat resistant. I hope that it's heat resistant. It looks like some kind of heat resistant. So when you're like not using it, obviously you need, if you're doing hand pressure and you need to be able to set this down. So this is probably some kind of like Teflon docking station or some kind of heat resistant docking station. So when you're, pressing whatever it is, you can obviously set it down, because you wouldn't want to set this down on your work table or any other surface. You got to set it down somewhere if you're doing hand pressing, which I'm not sure is, I guess there would be applications where you need to do that. But I've always used like a swing away with a lever so I could control the pressure evenly and stuff like that. So that is the Smart Press, which I don't believe they have a kit that comes with the Smart Press and everything. I could be wrong. You can go over to the site and check it out. I think I saw it as an additional, and it was like $269 or something like that, which was pretty awesome. So I'm going to put this back in here. So I don't make.
Love the design.
Yeah, the design is very cool, and I will tell you, it does not feel cheap. It is very sturdy. Like, it feels chunky. So I don't know if that's the heating elements, the heating plates or whatever, but it feels really solid, and it feels like if I needed to put even pressure because of the way the handles are, I would get nice and even pressure on whatever substrate I was trying to heat press. So that's pretty cool. Put that in there. Okay, I'm going to set this over here because I feel like, depending on how hard it is, we might be able to attach that to this. So this is the xTool Smart Press platform, but I don't think it has its own dedicated heat press heat element on it, because I think that's it right there. And I was not expecting that. I thought the Smart Press was its own heat press, but it's actually part of the other one. So you can heat press any way you want. Okay, so yeah, depends on how much assembly we have here, if we're going to have time to assemble it. But it looks like it comes with let's do an instruction book check. Let's see if it's like the other ones. Yes, there is some assembly required. For sure. And yes, it does work with the Smart Press. That is what it's for. This is its docking station. So if you want to do manual pressing using the lever and get pressure control and things like that, this is what you're going to do. So okay, so we've got the stands in here. We'll set this down. Wow. Okay, you've got a mount. You've got some screws for the mount, some more screws. We've got the lever action. So I guess yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. And then we've got this over here and the base and some out. See, they even gave you the Allen keys. That's really cool. Okay. So these are going to, oh man, you know what? Haley, should we try to put this together?
Yeah, why not?
Should we try to who votes that we should try to put this together, or should we just move on to the other stuff? It's actually not that bad. Like, it's very clear. Like, you can just look at the picture on the cover of the instruction manual. And it's like very obvious where things go. Mostly. So you've got that there. Oh, wow, look at that. So you've got your Z height and your pressure control there. Boom. You've got your, let's see. So these are the legs. Obviously, you're going to want this. Maybe I could like lightly put it together without going through all the screws, just to kind of just tack it together. So these are the feet that go out, so you get like stable when you're cranking down, so it doesn't like, you know, flip around. And I think all you do, I wonder how high this goes. You've got your heat pad, remember that? Okay, so that's the height there. And then what you're supposed to do is, there is a, remember this part? So basically you've got a mounting bracket right here. You're going to so this is the main heat press. In the instructions, it tells you to mount that right here, and then it looks like this just pops. Wow, that is too easy. So you just put that there, mount it, clicks in. Now this is mounted to here, and now you have a working heat press, and you're going to control your pressure from back here. That's super cool. And that's it. And you just put those screws together. And if you're not doing that, it's got a nice little cover plate to put back onto there. Very, very cool. I wish it had, if I had to say anything about this, is I wish that this had a little bit more height. I wish it had a little bit more clearance, like maybe up here. So if you wanted to like sublimate or press on something that was like taller, you know, that you could get the heat press like up here and work on taller things. That would be my only gripe. But when we do our video, we will definitely use this in all of its configurations and test and see how it works. I'm excited to try it out. Okay, water break. Okay, so let's get this put away. Put that back in there. What a cool little heat press. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to do. Before we do that, do you have any rulers at your desk, Haley? Okay, so you've got like 12 inches or 305 millimeters by 250 millimeters, something like that, or little under 10 inches. So a little under 12 by a little under 10 inches. So that's your total heat press area on that. That's pretty cool. Try to supply some helpful information. Definitely no substitute for like a full size 11 by 14 heat press, but I don't think that's what this was designed for. You know, this is more of a compact, ultimate crafting tool and station, which so far I'm pretty impressed with, I have to say. I do have a lot of craftiness in me, so I'm definitely need some ideas. If you haven't posted your ideas yet on what kind of stuff we could make in the video that I'm going to make on this unit, please let me know. I need some ideas. And this, so let's set this over here. Let's find out what was in here. Remember this? I have a feeling I know what this is, but I could be totally wrong. What's your best guess? My best guess is it's this little tiny handheld heat press for like small things. Oh, a little iron? Like an iron, yeah. Almost. Because I think I saw that in one of their videos. Someone says, I'm thinking tote bags with patches. Okay. Yeah. Tote bags with patches. That's good. Yes, it's the mini iron. It's the mini me. It's the mini press. There it is. So we got a mini press and tiny but powerful, intelligent, and safe. Some keywords for you. The xTool mini press. Okay. It's cute. It is super cute. It's almost like dollhouse cute, but I think it has a purpose. Man, whoever they're paying to do their instructions, you're getting your money's worth. Because these are the kind of instructions that I wish we could get in, even though some of the English may be off here and there, the pictures and the pictures make up for it. You know what I'm saying? So they've got like the hand, like where to press, where to touch, you know, things like that. So whoever's doing your instruction books, don't fire them. They're doing an okay job. Better than okay. All right, so in here we have another kind of docking station, probably Teflon, heat resistant. And then, oh my God, look at this. It's so cute. Look at it. That is super cool. So now the question becomes, is what kind of applications are you going to use this for? So I could think of a couple things, like if you're making a t-shirt, it might be if you're doing like right here, you know, and you got to press some vinyl right here, some heat press vinyl right here. You could maybe get something and kind of press that right there, so you're not using the whole surface area of the heat press. You could probably use this for putting, if you did some leatherette, clothing tags. Didn't we have a customer today that was asking about having us laser cut clothing tags for her clothing line? Yep. Right. So if she wanted to just had a small leatherette tag with some adhesive on the back, and she just needed to put that shirt down and just press that one area without getting into the creases or pressing the whole shirt, and she just wanted to focus the heat in one area, I could see that being very useful. Very cool. All right, so you've got the mini me too. And I'm pretty sure that when you buy the smart press, that this comes as like a whole package. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So let's keep that all together. And then we've got the pad here. So that's important, so you get a little flex when you're pressing stuff down. I do know a little bit about heat pressing vinyl because we had a short stint with it early in my career at Sonoma Laser Engraving. We thought we were going to be, making t-shirts, and so we had a heat press and stuff. So I do have a little knowledge in that area. So I'm really curious to see how this pans out. And I'll be checking the heat platen as well to make sure that, see how uniform the heat is when we're actually trying it out. I suspect that it's going to be just fine. But okay, so I'm going to move this off camera so we can go on to the next thing. Feel free to ask any questions about anything that we have talked about so far. If you want a measurement or something, you want to know how big something is, you want to see a certain angle of it, let me know. And I will do my best to answer your questions since it's right here in front of me. Okay. I think now we'll just get right into the M1 Ultra, shall we? Yeah, I'm not gonna drag it out any longer. Let's go ahead and get the big boy up here. Oh my God. Now I'll just break the table. This is a pretty sturdy table. Don't do that at home. Try to get someone to help you. Okay, so here it is. The box is big, but I have a feeling that the unit is nowhere this big. There's probably a lot of packing in here. This is the M1 Ultra, and I'm guessing that there's going to be more attachments in there. Let's get this over here because I know we're going to be making a big mess. Okay, here we go. This is fun. Fun. Oh my, I hope I opened up the right way. Yes, I think I did. Okay. All right, right off the bat, we've got scan the QR code. So this is probably help like unboxing or maybe how to unbox it properly. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to scan the QR code xTool, but I'm sure that whatever the scan is probably helpful information. Now watch me break it while I'm opening it. Oh man, I might need your help getting this. There's some serious packaging going on here. Okay, so got some cardboard on the side. Let's see. I'll let you know. I think it's when we have to slip out. Okay, that's good. Wow. Nice. Okay, so there is a box in a box. So I'm going to tilt it forward and hopefully it won't fall out. That would be great footage, but not good for the video. So there we go. Ah! Okay, I think we got it. Wow, this is like really substantial. Yes, did not fall off the table. There's like one corner that, sorry about that noise, guys. The styrofoam, it's real. The struggle is real over here. Okay, so now we have to get the other box out of here. You want to come around here and hold that box so it doesn't fall. And I'll try to lift this one out. Got it? Yay. Thank you, Haley. Oh my God. Yes, folks, the things we do for YouTube. Okay, that was crazy. And normally I would have much more space to open that up, but we're working in a tight little studio here, so that's how that looked. Okay, so nice packaging, very cool. I will set it down, and oh, thank God they didn't make me cut more tape. So, boom. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Very nice packaging. Very nice. So, got a material pack in there. The user manual, which is substantial. But there's already videos out there that I'm watching. People are doing a really good job breaking down all the different features. But once again, can I just, okay, I'm not really obsessed with their user manuals, but can I just take a moment to appreciate the diagrams and the instructions. They're pretty cool. So we got the user manual, got the material pack. Let's check that out. We did already look at a whole bunch of materials. So this must be, if you just get the M1 Ultra, just this right here, I think this is what comes with it. Because there is the option. You don't have to get the deluxe kit or anything. If you just need this and you've got all the other stuff dialed in, like you got your own heat press, you can totally do that too. So let's see what they put in here. Yeah, it's like a real simplified version of the giant box of materials. So you've got some cardstock in here, different colored cardstock. You've got some, I don't know if this is that, this might be some vinyl, heat transfer vinyl. Yeah, heat transfer vinyl for sure. Some iridescent kind of, ooh, that is pretty. No, it's probably like a wax paper, like a cover sheet. So you always want to put a cover sheet whenever you're pressing on stuff. So I'm guessing that was a little cover sheet. There's lots of different cover sheets. You can use silicone, you can use parchment paper. I've always liked to use like silicone. That usually works. Oh, and you've got transfer paper. So if you're not just doing t-shirts and not just pressing the heat transfer vinyl onto shirts, you could also transfer the vinyl to the transfer paper and make stickers for your car. So then you can have this carrier sheet. It's pretty cool. Not sure what that is, but, and then a little bit of wood for the laser.
The chat says good instruction manuals is a dying art.
Seriously. Seriously. And I don't read the whole thing, but man, I mean, I'm definitely not going to read it. If it's a bad instruction manual, I'm definitely not going to read it. But, you know, I think xTool has gone a little bit above and beyond when it comes to trying to help their customers have the best experience possible. They understand the value of a good instruction manual. Okay, so that was the little sample pack and the manual. We'll get rid of this. Bam, more foam. Oh, that was a ruler. Okay, we're good. Okay, we've got a very large, the M1 Ultra is packed in a very large bag. And oh my God, it's so cute. It's not this big at all. Look at this. 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 Boom. It is compact, but mighty. Like it feels substantial. Like it's got some stuff going on in it, right? There we go. Look at that. It's really not that big. I wasn't expecting it to be huge, but I mean, man, I feel like anybody could put this, like everybody has room for this in their creative space, right? Now we haven't talked about the riser base that came with it. That makes it a little taller, but also has its benefits to it as well. So let's see. Every time I grab this knife, I keep thinking I'm going to cut myself on camera and then be like, oh, excuse me, I need to go fix this. I'm just going to stop thinking about that. Yeah. Right. The hold screen, be right, but go into a commercial break. Okay. So it wants me to do that. Do this. No. Oh, yep. It's got some. See, I'm not. They really tried to make it easy. I'm sitting here trying to figure out my own way on how to get this off, and it clearly has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's saying pull this way. I'm just too excited. So anyway, you've got these tabs right here. Pull them outwards. Pull them out. I wonder if they at the xTool factory, I wonder if they have someone who's just in charge. I bet you they do. They probably have a team that's just in charge of unboxing and packaging. Probably. Yeah, I bet you. And not only do they have to try to make it easy, but they also have to pack it in such a way that it can be transported in long distances, right? That's a full-time job. That's a full-time job right there. Oh, this is one of those. Yeah, I don't know if my mic picked that up, but that was pretty cool. Okay, so we got that. Okay, more foam. You know, I might have to make an xTool for my son. I might have to make a foam airplane out of all this foam. Yeah, not sure if you can laser cut this though. So we might have to use a razor blade. Not sure if I'm going to risk that. There's all kinds of different foam. Some of them you can laser cut. Some of them you should not.
Sounds like a good idea for another video.
Dude, the static electricity on the back of this, I know you can't see it, but like all the hairs on the back of my arms are like getting sucked towards the plastic. Wow. Okay, so they made it orange, which also goes with the aesthetic to block out the blue light from the laser diode, the diode laser module. Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. We did all the major unboxing of that, and let's see what we got in here. So let's start with this module here. I'm guessing this is the laser module. I could be totally wrong. No. On the struggle bus. There we go. Looks like they got a little bit of an autofocus tool here. Yes, this is the 10-watt laser module that comes with it by default. I think you can get a 20-watt unit, which I saw on there, which is pretty cool. So we've got the laser module. In this next one, we have the, I think, we call it the hold it all module. Because remember, we already had the ink module is in a separate thing. And these are all quick connect, disconnect modules. So they just, on the railing here, when you want to do cutting or you want to use the pen or the foiler, you just unsnap it and click the new one in and then tell it what you're using and you're good to go. So this is the carriage, and I believe that the carriage can hold the pen, it can hold the cutter, and it can also hold the foil applicator as well. So that's what this one would be for. Looks like you've got the triangular prism holder. So this is going to be for the cut. If you're going to do laser cutting with this, you're going to want to use this. I'm not going to, it's a bunch of triangles on a rack. You're going to want to say it's basically your cutting bed for when you're cutting. So this will be helpful so your pieces can drop through and you're not, your laser isn't, how do I explain it? So it's basically raises your material up off the main bed so your material's not smashed against the flat surface, and then you get lots of reflecting of the laser beam back on the underside of what you're cutting. It's the best way to explain that. You've got a very beefy power module here. Let's see, what is it doing? So output 25 volts, 8 amps. That's not too bad. It's like a laptop power supply, I would say. Another power cable. Let's see.
The chat says, I wish the Atom Stack A70 Max and the Rolly Lasermatic MK2 had a baby.
Oh, yeah, this is a lot of things packed into one. So check this out. Let's close this for a second. So this kind of interested me when I was watching the video online. So this is a smoke exhaust hose. So if you're not going to be using the micro super portable smoke purifier, little miniature fume extractor that we're going to get out here in a second, and you're just going to be venting out a window or outside, then it comes with its own attached, powered fan to hook up to the back. Now, this is only if you're laser cutting. This is the only time you're going to use this. What I don't know is if it's intelligent enough to know if you're laser cutting, it automatically kicks on. It could, or if you have to manually turn it on. I'm gonna guess that it probably knows that you have the laser module turned on, and then when you start engraving or cutting, this thing's gonna kick on. So basically, instead of putting the fan in the unit, it sits externally and clicks onto the back of the unit, and then you run this outside, not in your living room. And then it looks like it comes with a little bit of pre-filters, so your particulates and smoke and soot from your wood don't get into the fan itself. Just to be clear, this is not a fume extractor. It is going to extract your fumes, but it isn't. This filter is just a large particulate filter. It's not going to get rid of any of the odors. It's not going to scrub the fumes or anything like that. So this is just your fan for when you're laser cutting and engraving, whether that's acrylic, wood, and you're going to be venting outside. And in a second, we'll go over the actual fume extractor. So that's pretty cool. Just this little, looks like it just clicks in, locks in, and then you're going to want to check these little pads often because they will get gummed up if you're doing a lot of laser cutting. That's pretty cool. Nothing about this so far feels cheap and poorly put together. I just want to say that out loud. Since I am kind of first impressions, this is kind of a first impressions of the build of the machine, as well as, just how they put this all together. Okay, so there is the smoke exhaust module. All right, so now let's get back into here. This is probably some tools for working on the machine, and I do know this machine has autofocus and things. Oh no, these are the, so in this unit right here, the carriage, you can actually, one of the features of this unit is that you can put these pens in there, lock a pen in, and then load your art in, and then have it draw your art with an actual pen.
That's cool.
So they give you a little set of pens to go ahead and try that out. And I don't know what the diameter of this pen is, or if they have, like, if you wanted to use a different kind of pen, if you could use your own pen, if there's maybe a little attachment or a way to lock that in. But I think somebody will figure out, if they haven't already, how to do that. I don't think you have to use their pens only. And then, of course, the classic xTool toolkit. You've got, oh yeah, I bet you that's what this is right here. See that? See, they beat me to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little adapter you can put on to use different size pens right there. They've got a couple of little USB dongles to probably activate or deactivate the whole unit. So don't lose these. These are important. And then some other helpful tools. It looks like maybe an extra lens protector for the laser diode. It's pretty cool.
The chat says it's called plotter.
A plotter,
Yeah.
right, a plotter. Yeah, I am definitely not an expert in using a plotter or vinyl cutting, but you know, I hope that my hope is that this machine makes it really easy for me. Funny story, I recently got myself a little 3D printer, and I hadn't got one for years because of my first experience with a 3D printer, and it was horrible. There was just, this was like 7.5 years ago. And I was like, you know what? I had a need for a 3D printer again. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And I was like, maybe they've made things easier over the years to 3D print, and I don't have to think so much. And man, I have to tell you that the experience I had versus like 7 years ago with like the latest 3D printers that are out there, it really wasn't that expensive. It was like $300. I just like turned it on, threw a file in, and it just like printed it within like a couple hours with like 0 mistakes. And I was like, oh, so I just needed to wait a few more years for it to figure it out. I feel like there's that plotting and all this stuff has been around for plenty of time. So I am hoping, always hoping that these products like xTool just make me not have to think too much and make it easy for me. I think that's their goal, is to try to make their products as easy as possible for people. So in here, I pulled out some little grease that's probably for the rails and stuff. And then we're basically looking at the unit right here. You've got your hold down pad for when you're doing cutting. I'm guessing these are tacky. So that's really important when you're doing cutting or plotting. And then here, they've probably got some, I think they've got some transport brackets down in here that I'm not sure if you can see or not, but I'm taking those out. Remove the screw. It has a sticker here. Once again, they beat me to it. I'm just jumping the gun. There's a few. There's 1, 2, 3 right here. Boom. Three. Maybe there's 4. I don't know. But I think once you do that, then you can move the gantry away. Just like that. And then you can actually get this last piece of foam out of here. Look at the vortex over here.
I don't want to think about it.
Right? So they've got it looks like a Wi-Fi antenna back here. They've got the control where the fan plugs in. It looks like they've got maybe some flame sensors in here, maybe fire sensors, which I heard that this unit has. I see some kind of interesting sensors back here. There's a little window to access something, and another module right here, maybe for the cutter. All right, so let's take a quick look at the back of the unit. I will show you the back, and we can kind of explore that a little bit.
The chat says, I used to buy plotters from CalComp in 70s for civil engineering plans.
Yeah, so they've been plotting for days. All right, so now that we've got all that stuff out, that's definitely manageable by one person to like move around your shop, or if you wanted to move it really quickly, not a big deal. Okay, so on the back here, you've got your fan hookup that we were talking about. You've got some peripherals for probably the fume extractor. I don't know if this has an air assist in it. I didn't see an air assist module. I'm not sure if it has an air assist module. But I do see that there's like, oh yeah, it might. Don't hold me to that. Got your on-off switch, power, USB, different peripherals here. So pretty straightforward in the back. In the front, we've got the targeting button, because this unit, just to be clear, does not have a camera in it. It does a lot of other things, but it doesn't have a camera. But that's okay, because it has the 2 or multi-point positioning system, which I talked about in one of my other videos, and is one of my favorite features in the XCS software, is the 2-point or multi-point positioning system. And with that system, you really don't need a camera at that point. It makes it so easy to line up anything, so you can register your engravings, your cuttings, whatever it is. It really is a nice feature to have, and I wish I would have had it when I started my career. That's how nice it is. I talk about it in one of my other videos to the point where my editor had to just kind of fade me out because I wouldn't stop talking about how cool it was. That in the software, you can use the 2-point positioning, which is great. I'm not sure if we want to undock the camera. I think I can hold this up for you just so you can kind of see the, there's the gantry, just so you can kind of get a better look at the bed and see that it has markings so you know where to put your cut pads. Everything's laid out super clean for you. Very clean, very sturdy. So that's it. Before we put this away, are there any questions, or anybody want me to take a measurement of this? I mean, you can kind of see how big it is based on like me standing here. It really doesn't take up that much space. No questions. That's okay. So there is the, we'll start putting everything back inside.
The more I use my laser, the more I want 140 watts or higher, faster cuts, autofocus, camera, and larger work area. I love mine, but doing an engrave or a cut on 40 black acrylic keychains took 2.5 hours.
Straight up. Yeah. You know, that is one of the things that, you know, when you're in this price point of lasers, one of the things that you need to think of when doing production is that the money is usually in the development of these products is usually spent in other areas rather than the servos that control how fast the head can move back and forth. And I've talked about that before. But for some people who are just doing crafting, or it's just a little accessory to their larger business, sometimes those time frames don't really matter, because you can have it doing something while you're gluing a bunch of other things over here together. But yes, I totally understand that the speed on some of the units can be lackluster, especially when it comes to doing large volume orders. But it is possible. But yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. Boom. Boom. Let's see here. Get this in there. Now I'm kind of glad we're doing this today, because I'm getting a little bit more excited on making a video about this now that I kind of get my first look at it. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of fun videos coming up on different machines, different techniques, and this is definitely going to be one of the ones that's probably going to, you know, put me to the test, because, you know, I don't think I've gotten into printing or cutting. Just like if you anybody watching has watched the xTool screen printer video, that one was like a completely new element for me. So I had to research like screen printing techniques, fabric, inks. I had to kind of like do my research so I could actually do this video. And I think I'm going to have to do a little research here too, but not too much. I think we're going to be okay.
Got a couple questions.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you can do a project with color and laser cut in one machine. I'm very curious about the process.
Yes, that's exactly what you can do. So because you can have the cut module and the print head module, or switch them out. I don't know if don't hold me to this, but you might be able to have the print module and the cut module both on there at the same time, or you may have to switch them out. You can do a full print using the printer and then have the machine go back and exactly cut out whatever it was that you just printed, with using a cut line that either follows the contour of the print, or if it's just a square, have it cut out the square. But it can also do complex cuts. So yeah, it does the cutting and the printing, and then also it does laser engraving and laser cutting, and then it can also do foiling and then cut out, like you know, so it can actually apply foil to different materials and then actually go and cut that out. So and then of course the pen feature, right?
Does the printer do sublimation?
The printer, I think you have to have for sublimation. It's so funny, I've been talking a lot about sublimation lately. I believe that there's a special kind of ink and a special kind of paper that you have to print on with a sublimation printer to be able to then sublimate that onto a sublimatable surface. So I don't think that this inkjet head is the right kind of ink for doing sublimation. However, I'm pretty sure that this is just an inkjet head, and you could reverse print on some regular paper and use the Mod Podge transfer. You look it up on YouTube, plenty of tutorials where you could press that print that you just did on like wood or something like that, and then rub it in and then peel it off, and the print will stay on the substrate. Not sublimation, similar, but not completely similar. Look it up. Look up like inkjet transfer to wood or something like that, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
It says 10-watt diode, so detail on engraving should be nice.
Yeah, the detail on the diode laser, diode lasers in general have a really fine point. So you will get some, whether you have a 10 watt or a 20 watt, because this unit does come with a 20 watt unit, you will get some super high detail. And you can engrave not just wood, but you can do some acrylics. You can engrave leather, cut leather with this. You can print on, the inkjet's really only going to print on inkjet friendly surfaces. So that would mean like sticker paper, regular paper, cardstock, things like that. It's not going to print. You can try to print directly on wood, but unless the wood is treated with something that's going to absorb the ink, it's going to look really blurry. So it's not like a UV printer where it's instantly drying the ink. So you can't print directly on wood. It'll just get a little muddled. Any other questions before we move on to some of the other attachments? Great. So let's move on to some of the other cool stuff. I am going to move this off into the shop here. How are we doing on time?
We've been doing it for about an hour and 14 minutes.
Oh, nice.
It's 4:44 right now.
Cool. All right. Let's get into the desktop smoke purifier. I don't know why they want to call it like a fume extractor. I guess that's just what they want to call it. That's okay. That's okay. You can call it a smoke purifier.
They're not like the others.
No. And we've talked about these. Yeah, they're not like the little exhaust fan. So we've got the desktop smoke purifier. And like I said, you don't need this if you're not doing laser cutting or laser engraving of material in the M1 Ultra, then this is not something that you need. But it is going to be handy for you if you're doing light cutting, light engraving, and you cannot vent outside. That's where this is going to come in very handy. Or, and you know me, I like to rant about fume extraction. Or if you can vent outside, but you don't want to piss off your neighbors. So when you have a laser engraver and you've got just an exhaust fan with no filtering going on, and you live in an apartment or super close quarters, and someone else's window is literally 5 feet away from you, and you're chuffing out the smell of burnt acrylic or burnt leather or burnt wood, you might get some calls. You might piss off some people. So where this would come in handy is if, it's not an industrial fume extractor, but it is going to mitigate that smell and those odors down like a lot before you vent outside. That's how I pretty much see this unit. I will test it to see, it will actually use it in my video coming up. We'll actually vent right inside, and I will tell you straight up if it's really doing its job filtering, then I will be very impressed. The question becomes when it stops filtering. Like, when does your filter fill up? Things that you want to think about: how much does it cost to replace the filters, right? How often do you need to replace the filters? Like I said, if you're mostly doing vinyl cutting, you're mostly doing printing, you're not doing too much laser cutting, maybe you don't have to change the filters that often. So, okay, so what do we got in here? We got the power supply. Looks like maybe we've got a filter for the unit. I love how everything in the M1 Ultra is kind of like dollhouse size. Like it really is. The whole system is really compact. I think that's really cool. So if you're looking to do large format engraving, printing, or vinyl cutting, this is not the unit for you. It's definitely for smaller crafts. So I think this was the instruction book for, oh no, this is for the filter. I promise it's not a garbage can. Like a bathroom garbage can. That's about how big it is. So it looks like we got a pre-filter. Boom. Wow. Okay. Okay. Very cool. I have to say this is probably the smallest fume extractor I've ever seen for light duty. Boom. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Give you a full rotation here. So we've got the max min, so there is speed control on it. So you've got maximum, minimum, or midway, and then low. Got your on off. It looks like it has a link to it, so you can plug it right into the machine. So like I said, remember we talked about, will it turn on automatically if it senses that you're lasering? I can see no other reason to have these here unless that is true, because it's getting information from the machine. So you've got your input and then your output, which you can still vent outside with if you're in a neighborhood where you don't want to be pissing off your neighbors, this is going to be very handy. So on the top here, we've got a pre-filter. So this is the whole filter right here. This is it. This is your filter kit. This is what's inside the unit. It's very simple. Actually, I think this is the output. This is the input, I think. Yes. So pretty basic. In here, you've got your pre-filter, which you get some extra ones of. This comes off. You've got your, I want to call it a HEPA-like pleated filter. And then under here, you've got some activated carbon, so charcoal underneath here. And that's what's going to mitigate the smell, filter out the VOCs and things like that. So you're going to be wanting to change this out often and check it often. And they do give you some extra pre-filters for that. And this just drops right back in there. These little ribbons. So you drop that right in there. Snap this back on. And that was essentially a filter change right there. And then in here, let's see what was in here. Oh, nice. So it's not an extra filter, which I thought it might have been the charcoal part of the filter. It is the final, it's your connection hoses. So sorry, I had to do it. I couldn't help myself. The 10-year-old in me was like, I'm having too much fun here. And it's also a cool noisemaker.
That's the Blue Man.
Right? That's right. That's pretty cool. Very cool. Well, I think we have one thing left to open, and I will explain what it is in just a second, and then I will take any other questions if there is any. Unless anybody has any questions about the fume extractor before we move on, I can answer those, or about fume extraction in general.
Did you mention the specs on it as far as CFM and water pressure?
Water pressure?
Yeah.
CFM, I will see if there's anything on it. Quick. No, but let's look one other place. There's nothing about the CFM on the bottom or anything, but let's check out the handy dandy facts 37.
He says he means static water pressure.
Got it. Just looking in the table of contents here, the fabulous list of items, purifier, how to install the pipe adapter, installs. Maintenance, safety service statement. Nothing on the actual specs, but I have a feeling that it is tuned to both probably the F1, the F1 Laser, the F1 Ultra, and the M1, because they're about the same inner cavity. I think that they're showing that hooked up in here. They're showing the original F1 hooked up to this unit here. I think it's definitely meant to be portable, but there's a link in the description, and you can go to the product page and probably find out more details on that. But they don't have it like listed in the back here, those specs on it. So sorry I couldn't answer that one. Definitely, I will tell you that it is not meant for high volume laser cutting. If that's all you're doing, laser cutting, laser engraving, day in, day out, and you're really not using much, really not using it much for anything else, you're probably going to go through that filter pretty quick. So you better have some extra ones, or just get one of xTool's more substantial fume extractors, and you won't have to be changing your filter so often. But I know that I have the, before I go, I know I have the larger one here from xTool, and that thing is very powerful. I would say at least probably 350 CFM, and it just like I only run it usually on like halfway because it's so powerful. It really does a great job, and that's how you should use fume extractors anyways. You just want to have it high enough to where the smoke or the vapors evaporates within 2 to 3 seconds of being made. That's so you don't want to always run your fume extractors at the highest level because you think you're getting all that suction. That's better. That's actually worse and will blow through your filters faster. So you really just want enough exhaust to evacuate the area within all that stuff to be dissipated within 2 to 3 seconds. So like the 2 to 3 second rule. All right, so the last thing we're going to go over is the riser base. And the riser base is an attachment that you can get to raise up the M1 Ultra, so you get a deeper cavity in there. And they sell this for the P2 and the S1 as well. They both have riser base options, and it's really very simple. Not the and I do recommend that you do get this. I'll tell you why. Because the Z height without the riser base is really not that much on any of the units, whether it's the S1, the P2, and having that extra room so you can fit larger objects in your laser engraver for engraving is like, it's just kind of a must-have. I never really quite understood why they sell it as a separate and why it just doesn't come high. I mean, I understand in one way that it keeps the unit really low profile and compact, but in the end, I think most people are just end up getting the riser base anyway. So that's what this final attachment is. There it is. Also, this riser base allows you, oh, look at that. Huh. Bonus cut bed for laser cutting. Very nice. And you can, I believe that you also, here we go. Look at, yes, we've filled it. It's like starting to encroach out here now. That's great. So you've got your cut bed here for when you're laser cutting, but you also have the triangles that we saw. So there's 2 different types of laser cutting beds you can get. And then this is the riser base. So by using this riser base, let me see, is this the front or the back? Let's see. I think that's it. So by utilizing the riser base, it will also let you use the rotary tool. So because you have more height, now you can get cups inside of here, because the rotary tool, which is the RA2 rotary that works with this, will allow you to, you've got to have the clearance between the laser head and the cup once it's in the rotary. So this is a must-have if you want to do cylindrical objects with the M1 Ultra. And it's pretty straightforward. It's literally just a docking station that gives you more Z height. So give you one little look of it. And it's got different trays that slide in and out, so you can get different heights and things like that. It's really cool. Let me show you how this opens up. So you have, this opens up. So you can have different tray positions to have your bed height be different heights depending on where you need it to be. And it looks like it's got like a stainless steel base here. So that's how that works. And these are magnetic. Boom. And that's pretty much it. All right, so let's get this out of here. And I will answer any final questions that anybody may have about the M1 Ultra or about laser engraving in general. And then we'll wrap it up. You guys are I'm so glad that you guys hung out today with me. But any other questions? Haley's like, it's almost 5 o'clock. it's almost time for us to stop working, which, hey, that's great. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. If there aren't any other questions, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I hope you do some fun projects with your lasers or with your family, or do whatever. I'm definitely going to try to go fishing. Did you have one question, Haley?
What's the best place you found for ply?
For ply?
Yeah.
Man, I don't get a lot of ply, to be honest with you. I get a lot of, I don't like going to Home Depot. I mean, even though they do have ply there, when I need it in a pinch, I've gone there. But there is, I don't have it on hand. I've seen this guy twice. I saw him at the Next Level Laser Conference, and I also saw him at LBX. He is a ply supplier. He has great flat wood. I am going to leave a comment on this video and pin it. And I'll, in the description of the video, give me a few minutes after we stop going live, and I will list the link. I have it. I was just looking for it the other day. I know who I want to recommend to you. Great company, great ply, very good pricing, and specifically geared towards the laser engraving and laser cutting community. Not just, but what I was saying before that is I don't buy a lot of ply, but I was actually going to place an order with this company that I'll list in the description. I get a lot of real wood from Ukuch. I can never say their name right. Woods, which I've mentioned many a times in my video. They do solid wood. So it's not ply, it's alder wood, cherry wood, mahogany, and you can buy it in sheets. I'll list a link to that description below. I just really like using solid woods when I'm doing laser cutting, even though it is more expensive. I just feel like it engraves really, really nice and cuts really, really nice. So I try to use solid sheets of wood when I can. All right.
They're about an hour from their house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's great. Where's that sign that we made? Here, let me show you. Is it over here? Yeah. Yeah, so we had a project this week. This is solid alderwood. And we have a project where a customer asked us, he has a giant wooden case. It's like 43 inches by like 20 inches, and it's made out of wood. It's for a shotgun that he's presenting as a gift. And he wanted us to engrave the surface of the case. And I said, I can't fit that in my epilogue. You know, it was just too wide. I don't have the 48 unit. I said, what I can do is I can cut you out of alder wood and put the logo you want on this, and then we can mount it on the case and then throw a finish on it. And so we size this, and I just like the way that alder and cherry wood engraves. It's really, really nice. I think this came out really good, and I think once he puts his final finish on it and we mount it flush to the case, it'll be really nice. So this is actually from that wood supplier I was just talking about. I love getting wood from them.
Christina so she says, I think the company from LMC that makes the ply is Lasered by the Creek.
It could be. It could be, but I will list a link, and it's not an affiliate link. It's just I know who I want to recommend. I just can't think of their name right now. But yeah, they have great sheet ply for laser cutting projects. So, and that's important right now, especially with Q4 coming up. All the crafting going on and the getting your products ready. It's good to have a solid resource for ply. Some of the things I look for in ply suppliers, not just pricing, obviously, is pricing, shipping, but then also how flat is it and their ability to ship flat ply, and keeping it flat when it gets in the shop. You know, I've talked about that before, keeping it flat, putting some weights on it to keep it, try to keep it wrapped up as long as you can before you need it. Stop the moisture from getting in there, and then it starts bowing when you go back to it a few weeks later. And also the different offerings of finishes on the ply. You know, there's ply that has an alderwood topper on it, or ply that has a cherrywood topper, and those can be great for projects too. They don't have to be solid wood. So I'll list as many links in the description as I can. I think that's about it.
That's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. You can feel free to leave any comments. If you're watching this video after it was been recorded, leave a comment in the description of what you enjoyed the most, or what module you think you get the most benefit from. And with that, we will see you around next time on Laser Engraving 911.